People are nervous about bidding at auction, and there's really no need to be.
Yeah, don't worry, you won't find if you scratch your nose you bought a two-bed flat in Basingstoke.
No. It's really simple. Just make sure you can be seen, bid clearly, and don't go over your limit.
So let's see what today's bidders bought. First up in Burton-on-Trent, there's no messing about.
Quicker, cheaper, faster now, tomorrow, today even.
Definitely.
And up in Kirkcaldy, Scotland, I have to watch my step before I enter this property. Man coming in. All clear? Whilst in Wales, I need to take a step back. It looks like the whole of the front of this house is actually leaning this way. That's not a good start.
All these properties have been sold at auction. We'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
You're so well done.
Burton-on-Trent in East Staffordshire is a town which in its heyday was home to over a dozen breweries, and 1/4 of all beers sold in Britain came from here. Today, there are excellent transport links to Derby and Birmingham, and it's got lots of amenities, including pubs for all those important pints. This is a busy road, so excuse me while I shout over the noise of the traffic. But it's not all bad news, as this is a really central spot, only a few minutes' walk from the high street. And as for the property I'm here to see, well, it's a one-bedroom flat and it had a guide price of £38,000. And it looks freshly painted on the outside. Good stuff. The building the flat is in is Grade 2 listed. It's a historic early 18th century brewery. There's a charming courtyard at the rear, which leads onto a back garden, and an amazing stairwell that I'm about to get to know very well. I'm moving on up now. Getting out of the darkness. And breathe. Can you just wait there while I catch my breath? It's quite a lot of stairs to climb, but what a magnificent stairwell. I mean, that really is beautiful when you stand at the top and you look down. Wow, very impressive indeed, and well maintained. Just like this flat, so walk straight into a sitting area. Really nice, it's cosy, it's very light. You've got 2 big windows there. Separate kitchen, which is fantastic. A lot of the time, you find the kitchen's all squashed up in the corner of the room, but it's really nice to see that. And it's actually quite a quirky little kitchen. Separate bathroom over here, which is good as well. But you've got a shower that looks like a TARDIS or a phone box right in the middle of the room. It's not really working. I think I'd rearrange the space in there and try and get a bath in, because I think that would work well. But what I really like about this room here is that you can see what it will be like dressed up. Nice fireplace. You could have a great big mirror over here, some lovely curtains. It's got a great feel to it, this flat. It's very handsome, it looks good, it feels good, and I can imagine this will be a fantastic flat for somebody.
Late yesterday night, I saw a light shine from a window.
There's a good-sized double bedroom with another set of those lovely Georgian windows. And yes, this, along with the whole flat, would benefit from a cosmetic upgrade. I can see a bit of damp under the windows, but on the whole, this is almost good to go. And I really love the character of this listed flat. I know I've said it plenty of times on Homes Under the Hammer, but Georgian sash windows are my favourite. Yes, they are so much more expensive to restore and maintain, but they look so much better and more in keeping with period properties like this than modern UPVC windows. And in this Grade 2 listed property, there will be restrictions on changing these windows anyway. My only concern is they're single glazed and you can hear the noisy traffic outside. At least the management company replaced these frames 3 years ago. You can double glaze sash windows, but it would be costly to do so. So it might be a case of earplugs at the ready here. But I do think it would be worth listening to a local property expert's opinion. Here comes one.
The fact that a building is listed or in a conservation area, it's 50-50 really. Some people will find that appealing, it'll add to its charm and character, but some people will be put off because they realise the extra burden of responsibility and the constraints that places upon you. I think the cosmetic upgrades required really are decoration, it needs a lick of paint, the carpets either need to be cleaned or changed, and I'd get rid of the coloured light switch.
And what about values? Not forgetting the property has a guide price of £38,000.
Once fully renovated, I would expect this property to achieve £70,000.
And on the rental market?
Once renovated, I would expect this property to achieve somewhere in the region of £425 to £450 per calendar month.
Well, you need to be super fit to get up to the top floor, but once you arrive in the flat, wow, what a lovely surprise it is. It's not in bad nick, and I absolutely love the character that the staircase and the outside areas and the flat have. In the brewing tradition of Burton-on-Trent, I would definitely raise a glass to that. Let's see who had the same opinion as me when it went to auction.
Lot 24. It's a one-bedroomed, second-floor apartment in a period building. 38 plus is the guide price. We'd like to start me at 38, 38, 36. Who's got 35? 34,000. 34 and we're away, thank you. At £34,000. Very handy money for a one-bedroom flat. At 34,000. 35 somewhere, opening bid of 34. 35 is bid at 35,000, 36, 36 at 36,000, 37 on my left at 37, 500, 37,500, 38, 37,500 £500, 38 quickly somewhere else at 37,500, 38 at 38, 38,500, 30, 39. At 39 and 5 again. Ladies bid at 39,000. It's in the market, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be sold. £39,000 is the bid for the first time at 39, for the second time at 39. Last opportunity. Any higher bid for it? It's sold at 39,125. Thank you.
Sold to Michelle for £39,000, just £1,000 more than the guide price. Michelle recently took redundancy from high-end engine manufacturers, where she worked as a project manager. I met her back at the flat to discuss her first property project bought at auction.
Michelle, congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell me what happened on auction day.
OK, well, I got 5 properties that I was looking at, and 3 of them I was going to put bids on, and this one came up first, and it was a bargain, so I bought it. The only concern I had was if there's a problem with the roof, but I've had it checked out and it's fine, so it looks like it's a bargain.
So what is the plan for this flat in particular?
Well, definitely going to do some refurbishment to it and then get it straight onto rental.
What are you going to do to improve this? It's such a lovely little flat anyway.
OK, well, it just needs completely replastering. I need to put some new tiles into the fireplace, a fire into it, and some work on the bathroom.
So let's first of all talk about the plastering. So you are going to replaster the whole flat?
Yes.
Wow, really?
Just to skim it, yes.
OK, just to completely freshen it up and make it look crisp and clean and tidy.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a bit of damp under the window.
Yeah.
Just to totally freshen it.
OK, and those beautiful windows.
Yes, yes, they're going to get a nice painted, and they've just been freshly painted outside yesterday.
So how amazing. The exterior of the building has already been freshly painted for you?
Yes, well, it's part of the management fee. And yes, I came yesterday and there was scaffolding floor to ceiling, and I was thinking, oh, you're going to be able to film it, but it went overnight.
How amazing. And are you pleased with the job they've done?
Yes, yeah, they've done a really good job. It looks really nice from the road.
Even though you've had these beautiful windows installed, they're not double glazed, and you can hear the traffic outside.
Yes.
Do you think that's going to bother anybody?
Well, I hope not. There's nothing more we can do, really, because obviously it's listed. You can't do any more glazing to it. So hopefully the road won't be so noisy. When you've got other things in the room, the telly on and things like that, you probably won't hear it as much.
Tell you what, I really love the fact that you walk in the front door, along the little corridor, to a second door, and then there's a courtyard. It's like a nice surprise, isn't it?
The shared areas are lovely in this property, and that's one of the things that really made me think, yeah, I definitely want to buy this.
And also, you've got that amazing staircase.
Yes, it is.
With the banisters, and it's the balustrade, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and that's one of the things about the listed that I really wanted to go for. So that's what I think will sell it when people come in through the door and see how nice it is.
It's so important that the front facade and communal areas are well kept, as they are the first thing a potential buyer or tenant will see. I'm really pleased to see that the £800 a year service charge is being put to good use. It should help with the search for a tenant when Michelle comes to letting the flat out.
So what about your kitchen and bathroom? Anything there?
Yes, so the kitchen is going to be redeveloped with all new doors and new appliances. And the bathroom, at the moment, is a strange shower arrangement. We'll have a nice bath placed in it and a nice vanity unit.
Because at the moment, it's just like a TARDIS in the middle of the room. It's like, oh, there's the stand-up shower.
It is entertaining, but obviously people rented it before, but I want to make it look nicer.
So you're going to have a bath put in there
Yes.
as well. Fantastic. I love that idea.
Yes, maybe a P-shaped one so that you keep the shower as it is.
So, Michelle, why property? It's so different from what you were doing before.
Well, I just wanted to do something different. I was a project manager, and the project management skills are the same in a property, so I thought I could make some more money out of it.
So would you say you're a very efficient person and this role will suit you beautifully?
Yes, I would say definitely. Anyone who knows me will tell me I am.
Come on, what are you like? Tell me.
Well, I could be persistent, and delivery and cost shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Really? Is that what you're all about?
Yeah, so it's all about planning. And I've already had people in to give me prices and things like that. So as soon as you've gone, people will start work.
And you're thorough, you're on it.
Yeah.
Clipboard lady.
That's it. I'll be walking around and with a plan. Do it faster. Come on, quicker.
Quicker, cheaper, faster, now, tomorrow,
Yes.
today even.
Definitely.
So have you got a healthy budget?
I think at the moment I've had some estimates in and it should be about £5,000.
£5,000 for new kitchen, new bathroom, skimming, new carpets.
Yes.
How long is this going to take you?
I'm planning to take about 8 weeks. So there's not too much to do, so I want to take about 8 weeks.
And what are you going to be like if it goes over?
So it won't go over and it won't go over budget.
So what are you most excited about with this venture?
I just want to see the before and after. It's just this is what I like doing. I wanted to do it for years and I've got an opportunity, so this is what I want to do.
Are you quite excited or a little bit nervous because you are actually sort of giving up a job you've done for many years?
No, excited. It's a new challenge. Everyone needs a new challenge.
Michelle, I'm so excited for you. Good luck with your first project.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this flat marks a new start and a change of direction for Michelle, and I have no doubt she has the drive to succeed. I think she's paid a great price for this flat, but is there something we don't know? Will there be a spanner in the works? Join me later in the programme and you can find out.
Whilst we're on the subject of fresh starts, the town of Kirkcaldy on the east coast of Scotland is certainly having one of its own. It's in an area known as the Kingdom of Fife, which has glorious beaches and pretty fishing villages. Its harbour was pivotal in the exports and imports required for the linoleum industry, in which Kirkcaldy was a world leader. Now, the town has had its ups and downs over the years, and in 1992, the harbour closed. But in 2011, it reopened as part of a major rejuvenation and regeneration programme for both the town and the local area. Overshadowed by its neighbour Glenrothes, Kirkcaldy nonetheless has good transport links to the motorway and a train station on the main line. With its lovely beach and a recent upturn of fortunes, I think Kirkcaldy could be just the place for a brave soul to dip their toe into the property waters. So on these blazing streets in this Scottish summer, what have I come to see? Well, something kind of unexpected. It had a guide price of less than £5,000, but then it's only a wee place. Yeah. Former public conveniences. Toilets. Mr. Gents. Well, when you've got to go, What we have here then is a mid to late 20th century brick-built block, and you don't have to be too flush to manage that guide price of £5,000. Time for me to have a sniff around.
This does feel decidedly weird. But what have we got? Basically one room that's been cleared out. So I suppose that's good news, actually. I was expecting to see urinals and cubicles and all that's gone. A little store cupboard there, probably used by a cleaner or whatever. And that's basically it. No, really.
Well, it's not exactly 2 up, 2 down, but thankfully you can't tell it was once a toilet anymore.
Don't drink the water.
It does have 2 rooms, though. You guessed it, a gents and a ladies. I'm going in.
Man coming in. All clear? Yeah, this was the ladies' side. Pretty much a mirror image of the gents. And again, it's been cleared out. All the things you might recognise as being something from a toilet have all gone. What I'm drawn to straight away is the fact that there's a board over there with all the electricity on it. So you've got services, you've got electricity, you would have had water. You'll definitely have sewage. All things which cost a lot of money when it comes to renovating a place. Now, it has already been knocked through, probably as part of the clearing process. And yes, it looks like a bit of a mess. But I'm already thinking about what this could potentially become. It's got the basics there. You know what they say? Where there's muck, or other things, there's brass.
Of course, the loos don't have to stay as loos. And once you've washed your hands of their past, what you basically have here is a brick block near local shops and transport, which looks and smells a whole lot rosier.
Well, at the back of the toilets, there's a little bit of extra space. I mean, it all adds to the footprint of what is actually not a bad-sized lot.
Baby, don't you leave me this way.
On the surface, it's a rotten old abandoned toilet, but I think if you dig a little deeper, some potential starts shining through.
Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, who on earth would consider buying that? Well, there's one piece of the jigsaw that I haven't told you that could make all the difference, because the building has got planning permission for conversion to a fast food outlet. Now, if we start viewing it in a different light, the fact it's on a busy main road, it's by existing shops, and obviously a fairly residential area, and at the back of it, there's this huge, big, free car park. You know what? A business like that, in there, could actually work.
So, where there's muck, there's brass, perhaps. And let's not forget that £5,000 guide price. Is that possible potential I hear knocking on the door? We asked a local property expert to visit the little boys' room for us, as it were.
First impression of this property, I have to say it does at the moment look a bit like a public toilet or a pillbox, to be honest. It's been stripped back, it's very basic condition, but then you've got a blank canvas. It's already got planning consent for a hot food carry-out. The alternative use has got to be a small shop or an office, perhaps a taxi office. The council would be delighted to see this brought back into beneficial use, and I think, there are a number of options for it.
Sounds very positive indeed. What kind of resale value would this have if it were a takeaway?
If you had the property let as a hot food carry-out, and for instance, let's say it was producing about £3,000 a year, I think you'd probably be looking at a capital value of about 8 times the passing rent. So that would be around about £20,000–£25,000.
And if it were rented out?
I think that if you could get a tenant who's got a good going business in here for hot food carry-out, you might be able to get something around about £250 per calendar month.
I actually think this is a very interesting opportunity. Good location, car park, planning permission. The big question is, will whoever buys it take, in fact, a more systematic approach? You know, I couldn't resist it. Let's go to the auction.
So lot number 3, good redevelopment opportunity. We sold a few public conveniences before. Somebody start me off at 5,000. 5,000 anywhere? 2,000 then anywhere? 1, I'll take 1, thank you. Have 1,000, looking for 2. Take 1.5 if it helps anybody. 1.5 I have. 2, 2.5. 3, I'll take 250 if it helps. 2,750. No. 2,500. 2,750. 3, 2, none of that. Okay. 3,000's our current bid. Are we all done? Any other interest? 3,250. 3,250's our bid. Any other interest? 3,500. 3,750. I have 4. 4 I've got. 4,250. No, not this time. 4,250 I'm looking for. We all done? 4,000 going once. Twice. Third and final time. Sold to the gentleman in the blue shirt on the aisle. Thank you very much.
He's right to look pleased. With a successful bid of £4,000 coming £1,000 under the guide price, Phil, an experienced property developer and full-time landlord from Rosyth, has bagged himself a bargain. And he's got form in buying unusual properties. We've seen him on Homes Under the Hammer before, along with his business partner Brian, when he bought this disused community centre in Dunfermline and converted it into a dance studio. I met him back in the Gents to find out his plans for this property.
Well, I've been really looking forward to meeting the person who bought this. And it's you.
That's right.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this.
I thought that I could make it into a hot food outlet and let it out.
Right.
That's the idea behind the purchase.
Right.
I tried to buy it a number of years ago, but I was outbid. The person that bought it for £24,500.
Wow.
And it came up again, so I thought I'll have another try, and I managed to buy it.
Now, if somebody bought it for 24.5 and did anything to it or nothing?
I think all they did was rip the inside out.
Right.
They stripped it back. They did away with the urinals and all the cubicles.
Right.
So I've got a practically derelict building. That's what I've bought.
Phil has done his homework and knows this property already has planning permission for a fast food outlet, making his timescale of 2 to 3 months achievable. But why here? Why this place?
The location is good because it's in a shopping area. It's beside other businesses. You can see it. It's very, very visible. And it's a fairly big toilet.
Yes.
A fairly big toilet
That's
in 2 levels.
Yeah.
So this top area, they tell me, will be the kitchen area and toilet, and the front area will be the serving part of it.
Right.
So there's quite a bit of work to do to bring it up. I've been advised it will cost around about between 15 and 30.
And that's to get it completely sorted out. Roof, electrics, floor, water.
The architects told me, including his bill, it'll be £25,000.
Right.
But who knows?
Phil knows he could spend as much as this place could be worth, but he's taking a long-term view that the rental return is worth having. It's an unusual purchase for sure. Has he had any wee jokes made at his expense?
I've had, we'll just take the eye out the toilet and it'll be too late. I've had, you should call it the wee takeaway. I've had that. I've had all these things, aye. And they'll all watch with keen interest because everybody loves a failure.
Well, no, we don't want it to fail at all.
No, not at all.
I just wondered if you might have had a few raised eyebrows from people.
Definitely. I had one this morning, a friend of mine, and he said, "When's Homes Under a Hammer?" I says, "Today." He says, "Phil, that's a terrible decision buying that place." And he's a really sensible chap. So we'll see. We'll see.
So, lots of Phil's friends and colleagues laughing at him for what he's done here. And on the face of it, I suppose you can understand why. However, what he's got here is a commercial unit in a really popular location. Lots of passing traffic, free car park, planning permission for a commercial unit. They could be laughing on the other side of their faces when he's finished. You can find out how he gets on later in the show. Still to come, in Ferndale, Wales, I get straight to the point. kitchen here, it's all right, I suppose. No, it's not. Take it out, replace it.
And in Kirkcaldy, Scotland, the truth comes out.
Toilet's quite a good gamble for a property investor who knows about planning, which I don't.
Over to Burton-on-Trent again, where I earlier looked around this one-bedroom flat that had a guide price of just $38,000. It was in a listed building and had a lovely courtyard, and once I'd made my way up the numerous but gorgeous steps to the flat, I found it really inspiring.
What I really like about this room here is that you can see what it will be like dressed up. Nice fireplace, you could have a great big mirror over here, some lovely curtains. It's got a great feel to it, this flat. It's very handsome, it looks good, it feels good, and I can imagine this will be a fantastic flat for somebody.
And that somebody was Michelle. He bought it for $39,000 on auction day. Former project manager Michelle had recently taken redundancy and decided to move into property renovation as a new career, although she certainly wasn't to be trifled with.
As soon as you've gone, people will start work.
And you're thorough, you're on it.
Yeah.
Clipboard lady.
That's it. I'll be walking around and with a plan. Do it faster. Come on, quicker.
Quicker, cheaper, faster, now, tomorrow,
Yes.
today even.
Definitely.
So Michelle was hoping that her background in project management would stand her in good stead. And with a strict budget of $5,000 and a timescale of 8 weeks to transform this dated and tired flat into a desirable rental property, I was eager to see how she'd get on. 8 weeks later, bang on Michelle's schedule, we're back in Burton-on-Trent to see just how Michelle has progressed. Good to see that the space-wasting shower cubicle is a thing of the past.
So in the bathroom before there was a shower cubicle here, like a TARDIS effect. Now I've placed it with a nice L-shaped bath. So new toilet, kept the same sink, kept the same tiles, a new blind, a new shower rail. I really like it now. Before it was a real eyesore, and I think it looks nice now. It's a nice, clean, fresh bathroom.
Quite right too. In fact, the whole flat is looking fresher and more homely. Michelle has installed new central heating, replastered, wallpapered and painted in the living room and the bedroom. And in the kitchen, she's fitted new kitchen doors and installed a boiler. As we know on Homes Under the Hammer, timescales and budgets can be hostages to fortune. So, has she been sticking to them?
It's taken exactly 8 weeks, which was the plan. The last week has been very challenging to stick to that timescale, but I've managed to achieve it.
Excellent. But what about that budget of $5,000?
So I've ended up spending approximately $6,500. The main increase was, as I said to you last time, it would be $5,000, but I wasn't replacing the boiler, and the boiler cost nearly £3,000 because I had to replace a lot of the piping outside because it was so old. So that was the major cost of going over.
Often it's the unseen issues that tend to end up costing you money. However, I think replacing the boiler is a very wise move in terms of having a tenanted property. After all, not only will it be more efficient in terms of energy, it would mean it's safer too. So how has swapping an office job for dust sheets and decor suited her?
So during this time, I have been project manager, cleaner, painter, decorator. I put my hand to everything. I've obviously had tradespeople in as well, but no, I've definitely got my hands dirty. I've kept the workmen on their toes by being here early so that they can get into the property, and also providing with lots of tea and coffee, and also being a builder's mate. I've been passing things and collecting things and backwards and forwards to the DIY shops to to get all the different items that they haven't got and what they need. I think they'll say I was challenging, to say the least.
No harm in cracking the whip, I say. But now the job's done and the workmen have left, how is she feeling?
I'm really pleased with the way the flat's turned out in the end. Toward the last week, it's really come together, and it's nice to see the finishing results. I hated it at times, but now I really like it. I think it's got nice style about it.
Well, with a total investment here of £45,500, it will be interesting to hear what two local property experts make of Michelle's first auction purchase.
I think the property is great. We're close to Burton Town Centre. It's a lovely compact flat on the top floor. I think it's a superb property.
Yes, I think the finish done over here is at a high standard. I couldn't expect anything more over here. You can't do anything more to this property.
The estate agents are impressed, and with Michelle eager to rent the property out, let's hear their rental predictions.
I think on the rental side of things, this flat should be able to achieve £400 to £425 per calendar month.
I would have thought that this flat would rent for around about £475 per calendar month.
Well, that's excellent. That's higher than I was expecting. I was thinking around about 400, but 475, very nice.
Well, if she was to achieve £475 per calendar month, that would mean a yield of around 12.5%, which is very nice indeed. Added to the estate agent's top valuation of £65,000, that could mean a pre-tax profit of £19,500, which makes Michelle's first foray into property renovation a big success. However, after all the whip cracking on this project, will the builders come back for another?
I'm sure my builders will want to work for me again. I pay on time and can be very pleasant to them.
"20 miles north of Cardiff is Ferndale, a former coal mining village that sits within the Rhondda Valley.
Well, in the hills above Ferndale, you find this, known as the Maiden's Pool. Well, legend has it that a Welsh enchantress lives at the bottom of the lake. Oh, how romantic. Let's hope that the property I'm here to see is just as enchanting.
And the property is located just a short drive away down the valley.
So what am I here to see? Well, a two-bedroomed mid-terrace. Guide price £29,000. Let's take a look.
That's an encouraging price, but just as this house seemed to be shaping up well...
It looks like the whole of the front of this house is actually leading this way. That's not a good start. It is potentially one of those properties where you wouldn't necessarily go any further than the front door. But let's see what it has to offer. Well, that's actually quite a surprise. Into this room, which is, for this kind of house, pretty large. It's two rooms that have been knocked together at some stage to create this really nice-sized space. But it's kind of wobbling this way. Wobbling, well, no, slanting, you know what I mean. And fireplace? I'm reminded of one of those Western bars where you slide a drink down. It'd be very easy here because it would slide perfectly well in one direction. Right, I mean, can you imagine trying to fit furniture or trying to find a square point of reference for door frames or skirting boards or anything in this house? It's like bad.
Yes, I know, it's not always easy to see on your TV screen, but take my word for it, this place is all a little bit wonky. The general state isn't too good either. But on a positive note, there aren't any obvious signs of recent cracking, which tends to suggest that this is historical movement and therefore not something to be unduly worried about. But I'd still want that checked out by a professional.
So, kitchen here, you know, it's all right, I suppose. No, it's not. take it out, replace it, and unfortunately it doesn't get any better as you work towards the very back of the property, kitchen here, then this area here, which has been covered in by this sort of plasticky kind of roof. It feels damp, it smells damp. Out the back there, wow, you're just faced with some massive, great retaining wall.
It's just coming together as a place that has its fair share of issues, and the wonkiness might be the least of it. It's really just dreadfully damp, dilapidated and dingy, certainly on the ground floor. Outside, the tiny courtyard space and a high-walled bit of garden would only be enticing to a mountain goat, and they don't increase any feelings of fondness for this house.
So upstairs, and the property takes a turn for the better. Yes, 2 really nice-sized bedrooms and a huge bathroom and loo upstairs. Brilliant. And let's try and think about this house in a slightly different way. The guide price, £29,000. Average rental for this kind of house around here, £350 a month. That produces a yield, not allowing for doing it up, but just on those numbers, of around 14.5%. Suddenly, can we put up with the damp and the wonkiness? Possibly.
So does a local estate agent think this might work?
The property does need quite a lot of work. It structurally seems okay, although there is evidence of some movement over the years, but I don't think it's anything major. It's probably historic, so I don't think there's going to be any sort of recent movement in the property. Primarily, the kitchen needs upgrading. The bathroom, there's issues with damp in the bathroom, and the conservatory needs sorting out as well.
With average rental figures of £350 per calendar month, we know the house's rental potential is good. But how would this house, that was guided at £29,000, fare on the resale market?
If I was to put it on the market to sell, depending on the standard of work, I would be looking in the region of £60,000.
That's encouraging. So what is the best option for the house once fully refurbished?
At the moment, in this area, sales are pretty slow. The rental market, on the other hand, is quite buoyant, so personally I would go down the route of trying to rent the property.
Well, that's good to know. If you want a fast return, then this might not be for you. But as a long-term rental investment, well, it should do okay.
Well, it's a bit damp and it's a bit wonky, so one to be a little bit careful about. Still, let's see who bought it when it went under the hammer.
Lot number 11, mid-terraced house, stone-fronted house there with 2 bedrooms, bath on the first floor. Again, great buy-to-let property. Start me at 20 then if you like. 20, can we see? Put a hand up at 20. Thank you, sir. I've got you at 20. At 20 there. At £20,000. Now what I'm looking for. I've got 20 there. One can I see? At 21. Thank you. 21. 22 now. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 28. 28. No. 27 I've got. You're now out. At 27 here then, make no mistake, it's going to be sold. At 27,000 then for the first time. Second time. Third and last time at £27,000. Well done, sir. Got yourself a bargain there.
And so for £2,000 below the guide price at £27,000, the 2-bed terraced house in Ferndale was bought by Cardiff-based father and son team Paul and Nathan. And with Dad Paul busy at work, I met up with son Nathan to find out what their plans were for the house.
Nathan, good to meet you.
And you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this place.
We're looking to get a portfolio of rental properties together, so on the road to be doing that, basically.
And this is number what?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the other ones you've got? Are they similar?
We've got one in Cardiff, and we bought one in the same auction as this one as well.
Right.
Which is just about 10 minutes down the road from here.
When did you start?
A couple of months ago now, not too long ago at all.
So why now?
We've, over the last couple of years, bought a few properties, renovated them, and sold them on for profit. But just wanted to get rentals now, you know, to get a portfolio together.
So the two are relatively new to property developing, and they also have day jobs. Nathan's a taxi driver and his dad runs his own business.
Couldn't be here today, but he's out to work on the ice cream van.
Ice cream van?
Ice cream van, yeah. He's an ice cream vendor.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's been doing it for about 35 years now, so...
Wow, like a traditional ice cream van?
Yeah, old-fashioned ice cream van.
Oh, fantastic. And is that something you've done as well?
Yeah, I do it through the summer as well, help him out there, and I do a bit of taxi driving in the winter as well. But the idea is to get slowly into property and for this to be the sole occupation.
Well, with 3 properties scooped up in just a couple of months, Nathan and Dad Paul hope that their ice cream days might be numbered. But this house has quite a lot of work to lick it back into shape.
What are you going to do to the property to get it into
Right, it's suffering from a lot of damp at the moment. So we've addressed the problem. So
what is it?
It's a bit of the guttering, a bit of the roof. It's a number of things, to be honest with you. But we've got that booked in for this week now.
Okay.
To get that done. We're just going to pull all the walls back then. The central heating system is not working at all. It's unsafe. So it would be a new combi boiler with new radiators. Spruce up the kitchen, new worktops, doors, etc. And flooring, carpets, laminate. Just make it nice, basically.
And is it stuff that you can do yourself?
I'll be doing parts, but we'll be getting people in as well and turning it around quite quickly, hopefully. Okay. So.
What kind of time?
We're looking at about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on if anything else crops up, any other problems, but should get it done in 4, really.
And what budget?
Looking at only about 4,000 to 5,000 on here, so yeah.
And then the plan is to get how many in the portfolio?
As many as possible, basically. We keep going, hopefully. So might see us again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing how you
get
get on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Nathan doesn't seem too fazed by the challenges ahead here. In fact, he seems ice cool. Almost the cat that got the cream. Yep, he's not too flaky about his plans, and he probably gives this place 99 out of 100. Ooh, enough ice cream puns. How will he get on with the challenges ahead? Because I think there are many. You can find out later in the show. Well, that's one property done and dusted. How did the other buyers fare?
Well, let's see if those schedules and timescales stood the test of time.
There we go. Back now to Kirkcaldy in Fife, where earlier I looked at a property with a small guide price, but there was a good reason.
It's only a wee place. Yeah. Former public conveniences.
It was here I met Phil, who bought the shell for £4,000 to turn it into a fast food outlet. With the permissions already in place, Phil was thinking long term.
I think it's going to cost me maybe 20 to 25 to do it up, and I feel once it's done up, it will still be worth what I've spent, if not a wee bit more. But it'll not be a lot more. But I think it'll give me a good return rent-wise.
Phil had tried to buy the block back in 2008, but it went beyond his budget for $24,500. The then owner had stripped out all the fixtures, leaving what the uninitiated might see as, well, a toilet. But Phil could see beyond all that.
So this top area, they tell me, will be the kitchen area and toilet, and the front area will be the serving part of it.
Right.
So there's quite a bit of work to do to bring it up.
And that's to get it completely sorted out. Roof, electrics, floor, water.
The architects told me, including his bill, it'll be £25,000.
Right.
But who knows?
Phil's schedule was just 2 to 3 months. 14 months after our first visit, we're back, and yes, from the outside, not much changed. no, the same goes for the inside. So what went wrong?
I bought it and the planning permission had certain problems with ventilation, sound, things like that, so I had to get that tidied up, which I did. Then I had to arrange to get a building warrant, and once I had the building warrant, I was able to start the work.
The work? Hope it didn't cost much. What exactly was the work?
I had all the rubbish removed. It only took a day and filled one skip. I had the electrics checked to make safe, and we cobbled up the water because we'd need water to do the work. Other than that, I've done very little, except for change the padlocks twice.
I suppose when you look closer, compared with how it looked before, it is now much tidier, but it's still a far cry from a hot food outlet.
We'll get a Chinese and watch TV.
Has it been worth it?
I'm going to end up having spent £9,500 on the property. It was only 4 to buy. I've had 2 sets of architect's fees. I've had my lawyer's fees to buy. I'll have my lawyer's fees to sell. I had to pay the seller's legal fees. That was part and parcel of the auction. And wee bits and pieces with builders and making safe and things like that. We did get estimates for the work that required to get done to take it to full spec and job done. Full planning permission, everything. It was coming in about £33,000, and that would be a premise ready to open.
Phil decided against going down that road, and his actual outlay of £9,500 to get it to this stage is not to be sniffed at. However, I suspect Phil has something up his sleeve.
I'm going to sell it for 18.5, so I'm going to make about £9,000. I owned it for 15 months, so I've made about £600 a month, which is more than I would have had if I'd rented the place. So I'm just decided to walk away.
Having been passed Phil's modified plans, and the building warrant added a significant value to the former toilet, enabling him to make such a profit. But there remains some unanswered questions, like did Phil get a good price for his efforts? And who best placed to ask than 2 gents from the property world? Local to these parts, we asked them if it was convenient to pop in and give us some valuations.
Consents are at a premium. Fife Council don't give out hot food consents very easily, so a property that has one will likely generate quite a bit of demand.
The main selling point of the property is that it's well located in an established residential area. There are both publicly owned houses around here, plus a lot of private stock as well. It's next door to the local neighbourhood centre. There's good footfall. It's a busy little location, so it has potential.
So what market value would you put on that potential?
In its current condition, with planning consent, and I understand that it's got building warrants as well now, I would have thought somewhere between about £17,500 and £20,000.
With the planning consent in place, in its current condition, it should be capable of attracting a price of £20,000 to £25,000.
I think they're both right. I think between £17,500 and £25,000 would be the correct value in its present condition.
By selling to a private buyer for £18,500, Phil was within those valuations and has doubled his money to boot. However, would he have been better to see the project through and then rent it out?
If the property was fitted out and operational as a hot food takeaway, I would envisage it attracting a rental of £700 to maybe £750 per calendar month.
I would have thought between £800 and £1,000 per calendar month.
Pleasantly surprised it'd be as much as that. I would have thought myself something between £575 and £700. So that's good news.
Good news for the buyer, let's see. If the new owner goes ahead with the fast food operation and spends around £30,000 on top of the purchase price he paid Phil, he or she will stand to make a pretty healthy yield of around 15%. But Phil's not been caught short either. He's doubled his money for little effort and is still looking out for more toilets at auction.
I was at a recent auction in Edinburgh where a toilet in a small village in Fife sold for £90,000. So a toilet's quite a good gamble for a property investor who knows about planning, which I don't.
Yep, toilets can produce some amazing results.
You're amazing, just the It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic.
We return to Ferndale, just north of Cardiff. The lake in Ferndale is supposed to be enchanted, but would the two-bedroom terrace with the guide price of just £29,000 I was here to see be magic? Well...
It's kind of slanting this way, and fireplace. I'm reminded of one of those Western bars where you slide a drink down. It'd be very easy here because it would slide perfectly well.
Yep, it leaned. It also had damp, but that didn't put off Nathan and his father, who paid £27,000 for the property, £2,000 under the guide price.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this place.
We're looking to get a portfolio of rental properties together. Me and my father.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't be here today, but he's out to work on the ice cream van.
Ice cream van?
Ice cream van, yeah. He's an ice cream vendor. But the idea is to get slowly into property and for this to be the sole occupation.
Nathan certainly seemed cool with all the work that needed to be done. 1 month later, we return to see if everything's going well and if he's going to make a lot of lolly. Right, have we hit our quota of ice cream puns now? Good, cue the music.
I got the eye of the tiger, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than the lion. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me
It's all looking fresh and welcoming. So, how much work had to be done here?
We've done a lot of plastering, new central heating system, radiators, carpets, flooring, everything really. The damp was problems with the guttering and the rendering was blown a bit, so we hacked that off, tanked the walls and re-rendered. It wasn't much of a problem, didn't add any extra cost on, just took a couple of days.
Nathan is pretty relaxed, just as he was about that wonkiness.
We've knocked the neighbours, they're all like it as well, so I had a look down the street, it just seems to be movement over time.
Let's just call it a quirky special feature then.
What a kooky little paradise. What a kooky little paradise. Never was an island half as nice as my kooky little paradise.
The bathroom has been repainted and regrouted. They decided to keep the original tiles. So what did they do to brighten up the kitchen?
In the kitchen, we've changed the worktops, wrapped the doors in a vinyl wrap, makes it look nice and white and new. We've kept the original oven, hob and extractor fan with the sink and the tap, or didn't need replacing. It looks much fresher and brighter. Hopefully the new tenants will be pleased with it.
I think this is a very clever choice. OK, so disguising old units with vinyl wrap is no substitute for a brand new designer kitchen, but this is a good example of knowing your market. Nathan is intent on renting the property, and those cosmetic changes do make a bit of difference without eating into the budget too much. Speaking of budget, Nathan was looking to spend between £4,000 and £5,000. How did he get on?
We've come in under 4,000, just though, I think about 3,800 all in told, so that's a bit under budget, it's great. The timescale's gone great. We've spent 24 days on the property in total. So there have been a few weekends, a few late nights, but all in all, on target.
Under budget and finishing within his 4 to 6 week timescale, Nathan appears to have done well, having paid just £27,000 for the property at auction and spent £3,800 on the development. Things are looking positive. But let's see what two local property experts think of his work before we crack open the champagne.
They've made some very good changes. They've obviously improved the kitchen and improved the bathroom, put new flooring in the living room and new carpets upstairs. On the whole, they've done a good job. The standards of the finish isn't the best I've seen. The painting it could do with improving, but the general standard is okay.
I think the good things about this property are the parking, the new boiler. It does smell new because of the paintwork and everything, new floorings in some areas, but it is definitely down at the rental standard. It's definitely not a sale standard. If you weren't going to replace the kitchen, I would have redone the completely doors instead of putting the veneer over them or the lacquer.
While Nathan is aware that there are some finishing touches to be made to this house, he was keen to stay on budget. So will the cheaper finish affect the values? So far, the father and son team have spent £30,800. So what could it sell for?
I would put this property on the market for £59,950 with a view to achieving between £50,000 and £55,000.
I think if this property was put on the market at the moment, it would achieve £60,000 to £65,000.
If Nathan and his dad were to achieve that top valuation of £65,000, it would give a pre-tax profit of £34,200. But Nathan was looking to add this to a portfolio of properties, so what rental value could he expect?
I would look to rent this property out for £375 per calendar month.
I think this property could rent for between £350 and £375 per calendar month. If it was done to a slightly better standard, definitely £400 per calendar month.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's exactly what I was expecting. Be great to definitely rent the property out.
£375 per calendar month would give Nathan a whopping yield of around 14%. No wonder he's pleased. A good lesson for all developers. Sometimes pouring money and time into the perfect finish is not the solution. He had a plan, he bought cheap, got it turned around quickly and didn't spend too much. So what now? More property or more ice cream?
Property compares very differently to the ice cream, but definitely enjoy property more and we'll continue on that.
So that's what happened to our buyers featured on the programme today. But there are as many stories as there are properties.
Yes, so join us next time for more tales from the auction rooms here on Homes Under the Hammer.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.